Welcome, travelers from the winding trails. Lay your weary head with a pint of ale. Take your time, you've accomplished your quest. Lean back in a chair, enjoy the Song of Rest. Hello, travelers, and welcome to the Song of Rest, a place where our heroes and the deities that guide them gather to share a behind-the-scenes and behind-the-screens look at the unfolding adventures in Archipeldia. Gather before us is our dungeon master, Aaron Rollins.
Hello.
Dustin Bleshmidt.
Hello.
Janelle Wilkie.
Hi.
And Chad Stafford.
Hi there. Hi, Timothy. How's it going?
It's doing good. I'm just gonna, just don't mind me. I'll just keep playing in this corner, and you just talk amongst yourselves. I'll make sure that the barkeep gets you all situated.
Thank you, Timothy.
Timothy, that was super cute. I love the little ditty you came up with.
That was really quite nice.
That was awesome.
I just put Sherman. He's crate trained, so I just put him down for the night. He's just gonna be asleep for this. But I figured I would hang out and talk to you guys, and have a drink or something.
Well, I'm glad you could do that, Dustin. Guys, that was episode 1 of Archipeldia. We finally got to this point.
We did it. It happened. It's a thing now.
We broke. We battled. We rolled.
We totally did all 3 of those things.
A lot of nat 20s, surprisingly,
And nat
for the
ones.
first episode.
So maybe that was just all on
yeah.
you, but there was some nat 1s in there. But that's good to see. That's exciting. That adds a little bit of flavor to the narrative.
And hopefully, too, just a semi-plug the episode zeros if people want to see kind of how the characters got to where they were at the beginning of episode 1. Definitely check that out because gives you a little bit of insight and backstory to each of them.
If you're just catching this first episode and you're wondering how Timothy, Sherman, and Flower end up or are where they are at the beginning of this episode, episode 0 might give you a little insight on that, plus a little bit more, maybe a little deeper dive into who those characters are, but I'm sure there's
A little
plenty more.
amuse-bouche.
Yes. Plenty more to learn from them as we go further into this story. And yeah, what did you guys think?
Go ahead, Chad.
I actually didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry, was that Dustin?
Oh, the joys of doing this all remotely.
I
okay,
thought,
that's
yes,
fine.
I'm able to hear. All I heard was an and I presumed.
I did not say anything, but I'll say something now. There was a couple of things that I enjoyed a lot about this episode. One being the on-the-spot squid friend
Oh, Brandon.
that Janelle, a.k.a. Flower Kraut, came up with, Brandon, and that he was played later into the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was fun. I do like that all the characters came together pretty quickly in the narrative, and there's definitely a lot of mystery afoot, and we definitely knew something was up because of the Fey creatures saying that they were trying to find like a hag, so we knew that there was something more going on, and now we got to deal with that in the next episode, which is exciting.
Yeah. I have a question. How does Brandon feel about another large squid-like entity coming in on his turf?
Oh.
I don't know how Brandon feels, although I guess he was happy that I'm still feeding him. But
Can we actually have
Yeah.
Brandon? Brandon, could you come on the show and share a little bit about
Oh yeah,
how
Brandon,
you feel?
tell us how you feel.
Hey everybody.
That's not Brandon's voice. Fuck.
It's Goofy. It's Goofy.
Was it Goofy or was it Barney that we were doing?
It's a cross between Barney and Goofy.
It was a boofy.
A
was
Goofy.
Boofy.
Goofney.
Goof me.
I love you. You feed me. We're as happy as...
Brandon's probably not very happy about a frackin' swimming around his island.
I don't think so.
I'm real non-confrontational, but I also just want to be friends.
Excuse
funny.
me, do you like to be tickled?
Yeah, the worst thing that Brandon does is tickle people. He's a real ferocious
that's-
creature.
He's a prankster like me, so we get along great. Flower Kraut. Flowerkraut sometimes rides him bareback in the ocean.
You are a free spirit.
I mean, I guess Brandon's always bareback. Flowerkraut's nude. there's not a squid saddle out there.
Not yet.
That's enough. That's enough to scare people off of your beach right there.
Like, why is there a naked old woman riding a giant squid?
Oh, let me take off my normal saddle, ma'am. I like how everyone has a different Brandon voice.
Yeah, yes.
I gotta say, I love that the first thing Flowerkraut said was, well, I have to get my toothbrush.
Such a bone. Next you'll find Sherman just gnawing on your toothbrush.
Sherman better not gnaw on my toothbrush. There's plenty of fish bones to go around.
I have the
I
bone
do not
dagger
share
to do that with
toothbrush.
now.
Do not put your toothbrush in your mouth. My toothbrush in your mouth.
No, you said. I mean, a dog should really have their own toothbrush. That's true.
Aaron, I gotta ask, were those head crab things, are those from anything in particular, or did you kind of craft those and have them go after Timothy specifically because of my reaction to The Thing, which is a movie we all saw together recently, which I was not a fan of in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, you sweet little
Boggles
Babu.
are absolutely a thing that's in the book.
I'm gonna look them up right now because, good lord, they sounded like pure little nightmare fuel.
I pictured them having the faces of like the heads in Spirited Away.
Yeah, I definitely changed a couple things about them because I wanted to make them a little bit more creepy than, I mean, they already are, but
oh, they are
You
definitely
leveled them
not.
up.
They're definitely not ball creatures that I thought they were. They're just creepy
Yeah.
little prominently head dudes.
Yeah, I
With
wanted them.
excretions.
I made them out just to be like heads with arms and legs, just to make it funny. But you know, I also changed a little bit of their stats.
Oh, those are gross.
Yeah, they're not a good time.
I was literally picturing like saucy meat wads with little like stick arms and legs.
Well, hey, man, I just like doing my little thing. I took it in and like teleporting.
No.
It's just my thing, man.
Definitely not like just like stunted goblins.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got a full-size head, a very small torso, and full-size arms and legs. Oh, gross. What proportions?
Yeah, so let's see here. I'll put the image that I originally based you probably are already looking at this one, but that's
I
kind
am.
Yeah, that's the one we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a cute one.
All I could picture was the word game that you put all the letters in the little box and you try to get as many words as
Oh
you
yeah,
can.
the game boggle
And I'm
for
like-
sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these little Game Boys.
These words keep trying to attach themselves to me.
I loved all the noises you gave them. And
Oh, yeah.
Aaron, like, even in the proto episodes we did for practice, just to kind of warm ourselves up, like, all the voices you do are so fun.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to lots of opportunities for our good friend Chad Stafford to do some Kenku mimicry. That's going to be fantastic.
I know, it's going to be
Oh, yeah.
so new. We haven't gotten any of that yet.
Yeah, there was a point, and I won't spoil it because it'll probably be something we post eventually, but there was a point where I was ready to do some mimicry in order to get us out of a sticky situation because we were unsure of a certain character on whether or not they were being truthful or if they were going to try and like stab us in the back. So I was totally ready to do a little impersonation against them, but I'm looking forward to that because that was one of the big reasons why I picked Kenku's, because I thought the mimicry thing was fun.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Between your mimicry and Flower's disguised self at will, you guys will get into some shenanigans unlike any other D&D party, I swear.
Oh, I bet. I mean, if I can forget my own organization like the first time I'm trying to reference it, I'm sure
That was
hijinks
precious.
will.
That worked though. I mean, you were unconscious and you literally had a sailing mast on top of you, so it works.
That was so Sherman.
You can be a little forgetful. Yeah.
He really is coming off like a good boy, like just a classic, like
just trying
what
my
you
best.
imagine your dog is like.
I felt so bad that here I was, Sherman's situation is that he essentially got knocked unconscious. He dropped down to, 0 hit points, 1 hit point, gets woken up, gets a healing potion, gets us up to 7 hit points, and the first hit he takes in the fight does 7 damage to him.
I got whomped. Whomped, I say.
You gotta get your ass kicked a little bit in the beginning.
A little bit.
Well, and I think base HP Sherman probably has, being a paladin, way more than the rest of us too.
I'm like, I can't tank when I start with 7 HP, guys. So, please help. Oh no, I think Flowerkraut's booty cheeks really are the DPS of the party.
Yeah. I mean, you've got tank, healer, and DPS all set up. You've got Sherman up front, Timothy singing in the back, and Flowerkraut destroying everything with rank farts.
Just ripping it.
I'm coming up the rear, but with Flowerkraut, I'm always a little nervous about it.
You're coming up the rear. I'm bringing the rear.
Don't worry, Flowerkraut. I'll give you a lay on hands. I'll just wait until the smell dissipates before I do.
Much appreciated.
I really like when you guys take narrative into your own hands. Like the Brandon Squid thing was fantastic. I think, and then also like Timothy doing the sandblaster dance or whatever you were calling it.
Sandstorm.
Just derooting up over here.
So feel do that, which it makes things so much more fun. Like Flowers got her mortar and pestle that you can do all kinds of things with. If she, even in between, downtime, she can just start collecting just random things, because it makes so much sense for like this gross old woman to be just pulling garbage into her satchel, or and mixing it in this mortar and pestle and like smearing it on the dog's face, and the dog being like, the hell is this? don't answer
Or
the
he
question.
just eats
Smells
it right
good.
off.
Yeah, he just laps it off his nose.
I feel like you're going to have more trouble with Timothy with medicine, for sure.
Is there a limit to how much she can craft per day, or is it just depending on how the supplies?
So she can craft one thing per day, and it takes a short rest. It would take an hour for her to make one thing, and then her cooldown would be until the next day. I don't know. Like, I kind of toyed around with that. Oh my god!
Squeeze me.
Flowerkraut stormed into the building.
It came out the other end. Whoopsie.
Oh, hold on. I have Bless actually stocked.
You have Bless?
Yeah.
So you're going to cast Bless you?
I'll cast it on you, Janelle.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, bless you, Janelle.
Yeah, I'll whip up something for Sherman. I'll make a little bit of like ground up fish bone peanut butter to put on his snoot.
You gotta put his medicine in the middle of that to get him to swallow it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nope. He ate around it. Gosh
Damn
darn
it.
it. Okay.
If we keep feeding him more peanut butter, he's gonna get the shits.
Oh my god, I'm excited for all the dog jokes.
Oh yes.
I'm really hoping we're able to do a short rest before we go deal with the incantations that are going on
Oh my god.
on the island.
I hope so too. Flowerkraut's at 6 HP.
Short rest, no short rest. I'm gonna be handing out some heals if we aren't taking one. That's for sure. Cause boy,
I do got one posh.
So there's definitely some mysterious crap going on Adrystia. Fey creatures showing up out of nowhere. Ships getting the frackening before being
frackening.
wasted.
you mean getting the frack kicked out of them?
Oh.
Does anybody get the joke? Anybody get the joke on the fracking?
No, what's the fracking?
It's obviously a play on words with kraken and and fracking oil.
Oh.
So that's why it was like in episode 0, it was like fire and stuff, right?
Yeah, it was spraying oil all over the ship.
Gotcha.
That's cool and terrifying.
So
really
are you
neat.
saying Are you saying the ship would have been fine if it wasn't for something incredibly flammable touching it?
I would say that everyone should go watch. Everyone should go listen to episode 0 and make their own judgment on what happened.
No, don't do that. Well, do that, but don't judge too harshly.
Yeah, someone is
Certain
going
people
to be
were led
implicated
astray.
in this.
Certain people put their faith in others and was treated horribly for it.
Timothy, you are the fate that brought us together.
You know, I just bring a gleaming, bright ball of fiery friendship wherever I go.
Hey, I thought Timothy was in the back playing music.
Oh, sorry. Let me get back to playing.
Oh,
I
we shouldn't be
apologize.
talking about him in front of him. That's so rude.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably still sensitive about the whole thing.
I'm still sensitive about the whole thing. Or maybe he still just has goop in his ears, so he's just like, what?
Oh, good. He didn't hear anything.
Nah, he still got goop in his ears from all the head crabs.
I appreciate once again the emotionality to Timothy. Like, he gives so much energy to every scene he's in, and it's awesome.
Totally. You have such a natural reaction to everything that's happening with Timothy, and it's very refreshing, like, in a way where I like trying to play off of. I find it easier to play off of other things that are happening, so I really appreciate those added character elements that both Timothy and Flowercrow have.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Like, as you are responding with Timothy's reaction, his emotional reaction to things, it's actually difficult to continue reading narrative that I've written down because I'm about to bust out laughing. But I love it so much. I'm just like, okay, you know. It's like I almost have to put pauses in my narrative writing for Timothy's response.
Well, and this, I genuinely appreciate the compliments. It's very nice of you all, but I think everyone, just with these characters, are bringing their A game, and everyone has such wonderful traits that make their characters just who they are. Like, Sherman is such the good boy, and his reactions to things are just so genuine and pure. And Flowercrout, you just bring so much wit and like snap reactions to things that like I have to mute myself because I'm laughing so hard.
I don't
Don't
in the
mute
background.
Yourself.
Yeah, do not
I
mute.
don't mute, except
when I laugh hard.
Oh, I know.
Eat
Trust
the
me,
mic laugh.
I'm well aware.
Oh, just do the old pull away from the mic laugh, man. Don't worry about muting yourself.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm just not ready for it.
There might be one or two times where I blow out the mic by laughing way too hard, and then it slowly like pitters off as I get further away from the mic.
Yeah, I hear you there. Like I can see when my voice just is absolutely breaking the software with how loud I'm laughing, and I'm like, oh shit.
Well, just imagine one day in the hopefully not too far off future when we're all sitting around a table together and recording, this at the same time, so we can actually get people's facial reactions. Because I feel like that's the one thing I miss from it. Is like,
I know.
there's so much of the role playing aspect that feels heightened when you're actually in the room with people, especially with all of us.
It's the energy. The energy in the room is so vital.
Yeah, and it's not just like a normal D&D session, because all of us play D&D like outside of this for the most part, or have had another like role-playing style like game that we've played. And so much of it comes from being in the room and sharing that energy with one another. But I'm so grateful that all of us, in doing like these practice sessions before episode 1, we found a way to make it still work. And I honestly can't tell the difference between like if we were in a room together doing this versus all of us being remote. Like, it still feels natural to me, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, what a year to start a podcast. We have to do it online entirely, but I feel that when we reach that point, it's going to be like upgrade, it's going to be like the evolution of our podcast reaches this point where we're all in the same room and we can feed off of that energy. And that's really exciting to think that you guys have been able to bring this much energy, and we're not even sitting together. It's going to be overwhelming when we get to that point.
It's nice to start it this way, because like you said, it's a little bit more challenging not being able to see each other. But as the characters' relationship grows and there's more chemistry there in those relationships, if we can actually get in the room together, that'll just like really make it soar.
I don't know if you all do this, but I catch myself just keeping my eyes closed and just listening to the voices. And with that, I'm just picturing the actual scenario in my head because I got nothing really to look at. Like, I'm just staring at blank blinds and a screen in front of me. So I'm just like, I just go into the theater of the mind far more this way than I would at a table. Because at a table, I'd be looking at people's expressions and picking up on their cues. But here, we don't have that. So now I'm just imagining like the actual situation, which kind of is cool in a way. I think like if I had to pull one positive out of not being in a room with everybody, like that would be one that I'm using the imagination far more than I would sitting at a table where we would probably have some sort of physical representation of our, characters or our map or the scenario. Whereas now all we've got is the mind and our voices.
I think it gives us the perspective of the audience a bit more too, so that if things need to be imagined, we can imagine together. Because if you're in person, you can kind of explain, or you're gesturing like, my sword looks like this or whatever, but you have to explain it in a way that someone that can't see you would understand. And I think that helps.
And that's what I really hope we accomplish with this kind of a podcast, is exactly like you were describing, Chad, where you're just able to close your eyes and it just takes you somewhere and takes you away from whatever you're dealing with day to day, and just puts you in a place where you can just relax and enjoy a fun time, hear a good story, have a laugh. And that's what I go to podcasts for. So if we can deliver that to someone else, that to bring a super serious note to our goofy ass podcast, that would just make my heart sing, and it would make Sherman's heart sing as well.
Yeah, Theater of the Mind is my preferred platform for tabletop stuff. As much as I love figurines and stuff, that's super awesome. And like, we even with our outside D&D games, we've had to move to like a digital map kind of thing just for logistics. Yeah. But Theater of the Mind has that exact thing you're talking about, Dustin, that you can describe something and you can put someone who's listening in that place. You can paint picture, and you can bring anything else you want into it without having to grab, more terrain pieces or figurines in order to represent this new thing that literally just happened because of something else happening. It's like Theater of the Mind, has limitless possibilities. And I think that in a podcast, it's such a good, I want to say that I've listened to podcasts that have tried to use figurines and then try to explain what was going on to the listeners, and it just didn't, cohesively work well, because you still weren't really sure what you were looking at because you're listening to the whole thing. So
I can imagine it's kind of difficult because you also have to disconnect yourself, because you can get so wrapped up in I got to be my character and be engaging and also keep track of the rules. But now I'm looking at a physical representation of what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to actively think of, I need to describe this for the audience, because you already got so many other things going on in your mind. So I can see how it would be easily overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a listener, I don't like listening to the minutia of the map, or like I like hearing details about like what the character is wearing and everything, but I don't need to know like every single little thing. I like being able to imagine them in my mind.
Yeah.
I think other people like that too.
And every little tiny detail is not important in Theater of the Mind, as long as the general picture, it's like, if a question comes up for technical reasons, how far away from him am I? And there's reasoning behind that, great. We can give you that metric. But besides that, everyone's imagining the beach that you guys are fighting the Fey creatures and the boggles separately. Everyone's picture in their brain is going to be different. But they just know that Timothy's over there covered in goop, while Flowerkraut is, and Sherman are fighting these two things in a separate area, and that's all we need to know. We don't need to know the exact distance between what's going on here and there, so it really just comes down to for the rules, for ability checks and stuff like that, we need to know those things. But other than that, let everyone just imagine what's going on.
And that's not to say that miniatures aren't super duper fun, because we've done a couple of Star Wars games where I went full out.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, you did.
Spent weeks printing terrain pieces, and we had a full on like war scale. You guys had to fight for your lives to get out of a prison complex, which was super fun.
And what was the first thing we all did? We all took pictures and started posting it
Took
online.
pictures of it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that shit needs to get shared. It was immense.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out. I'm a big fan of like snacks and gaming, and my lovely wife just dropped by a cinnamon roll cup little apple pie bite little tart, and it looks absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
So
Ooh.
that is going to be the cherry on top of a wonderful first episode for me.
Awesome.
Good
That
job,
does sound
Amber.
Oh, it
Yes.
smells so good.
Your little treat, Sherman.
Describe me the smells.
All right, close your eyes.
All right. Transport me.
Imagine a Pillsbury, not a sponsor, cinnamon roll that has been smushed into a cupcake tin, like a baking sheet for cupcakes, and molded into the shape of the cupcake, and put in the oven for baking, and then...
Oh god, I'm imagining being inside the oven. Oh fuck.
No, don't do that.
so
Don't
hot, so hot.
No. You put it in, you close it, it's fine. And then you put little apple pie filling inside it once it's full, and it looks and smells delicious. And you take that first bite, and the sweetness of the apples and that I don't know, what does cinnamon do? Like, it gives you a little extra oomph. And
Little
just the
kick.
softness of the cinnamon roll dough, it just fills your mouth with joy.
Tell me about that buttery dough.
I love me some
That
cinnamon
dodo.
apple.
Well, Timothy has stopped playing, and now his mouth is watering.
That's
Hey,
right.
And he
Timothy,
just
are
wants
you
a taste of
hungry
that
over there?
sweet biscuit. I'm so hungry.
Holy crap, that's really good.
We haven't gotten introduced to Timothy's famous appetite.
Oh,
but those
boy.
Of us that have, I mean, we've done the proto episodes, and Timothy, without fail, has always wanted any food that anyone has.
Yes.
His last name is Biscuits for a reason.
Hey, well, do we want to wrap this one up? And
Yeah, I think this was a successful song of rest.
yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed, guys.
I'm feeling pretty relaxed.
Yeah, and be patient with us as we try to get our footing here. I know that there may be maybe some rules here or there in D&D 5e that we may miss or jump over or overlook. I know we had to backtrack a little bit in this first episode, but we're all kind of getting our sea legs here in Archipelagia. So
Nah, we're perfect.
Yeah, only one push off of a ship, one crashed ship, and I'm sure Flowerkraut will end up on the booze cruise at some point. But
Oh, that is a goal. That is a goal. For me, not for Sherman, because Sherman definitely would feel very uncomfortable, but I am excited for that to happen.
Oh boy.
all right, it's
Yeah.
official. We're going to be doing a podcast from a booze cruise.
Yes. Flowerkraut.
God, I
is
can
all
only
about
imagine
it.
the exterior noise that I'm gonna have to filter out in the post process. But I'll do it. I'll do it for the cruise.
For the glory of the cruise. And I was just calling over to Timothy over in the corner. I can see him salivating.
Yeah,
Timothy,
man, he really took me to the theater of the mind.
I think if you wrap us up for this one, that Dustin might just share one of these apple tarts.
Oh, you have to say no more.
Thank you so much for listening to our Song of Rest. If you like the adventures your ears just wit on, feel free to listen in on our other adventures from any plane of existence or seeing stone you get your podcasts. Until we meet again, safe journeys, travelers.
What's up, BB Army? Thank you all so much for listening to today's episode of Break, Battle, and Roll. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed making it. If you can't get enough of Break, Battle, and Roll, be sure to follow our Instagram and Twitter, both at Break, Battle, Roll, or swing by and like the Break, Battle, and Roll Facebook page, where you can mingle with us and other members of the BB Army in between episodes. If you want to keep up with our cast, you can find Chad Stafford on his Instagram and Twitter at It's Chit Chad, as well as his YouTube pages, Chit Chad and Chit Chad Plays. Aaron Rollins on Twitter is at AARKUMA, that's Arkuma. Janelle Wilkie on Instagram at janelle.wilkie, that's JANELLE.WILKE. And me, Dustin. Catch me on twitch.tv/thefinaldestination, Instagram and TikTok as at @the_final_destination, and on Twitter at FINL Destination, because Twitter likes short names. We'd like to give a special thank you to our musicians Ben Holland for creating our absolutely shredding theme song. You can find Ben on SoundCloud, and Rory O'Neill for his phenomenal background compositions. You can find Rory as at Trench Roar Fair on Twitter. Gotta love that pun. We'd also like to give a shout out to what we would call our sister podcast, the Roaring D20s podcast. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at RD20s podcast. That's RD, the number 2, the number 0, S podcast. Lastly, if you want to support the show, the best way you can help us right now is to spread the word. Do you have a friend who likes D&D or is way into podcasts? Send them our way. On top of that, the great Googly Moogly has told us that ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts will help share our adventures with more listeners. Again, thank you all so much for listening. Now, where was that delicious fish smell coming from? Uh-oh. Later, BB Army. I've got to get Sherman before he gets into Flowerkraut's mortar and pestle bag again. We will see you all in the next episode.